Yeah.
Yeah, we are live.
Good evening, everybody. As leaders, you will agree that honest feedback from employees is how you improve culture and working conditions before it costs you valuable talent. But employees will not be forthcoming with open comments unless asked. This is why it is so critical to have a system to gather feedback. And this evening, we are going to look at two powerful feedback mechanisms: the exit interview and the stay interview. Timing is the difference between the two. Exit interviews take place after the worker has officially resigned. Stay interviews are conducted periodically during the tenure of the person's employment. People ask, so which is better, stay interviews or exit interviews? The truth is, both. Both have their strengths. When done well in tandem, they pack a strong punch to positively impact employee retention. This is a webinar with a difference. The impact of exit and stay interviews is brought out in the form of an interesting three-way dialogue. The main protagonists in this lively interaction are an employee who has resigned from an organization, whom we will call exit. 2, an employee who's committed to staying in the organization, whom we will call stay. And 3rd, the organization itself, whom we will call org. Now, org, stay, and exit are going to come together in a sort of a one-act play. Through their lens, we will see the benefits and advantages of the stay and exit interviews, especially the combined power of both. So before we start, let me give a very brief introduction to our actors. Deepali Paul, a founder member of KELP, plays exit. Entrepreneurship is a strong middle name, and let me tell you why. She has launched businesses spanning a versatile spectrum: conference management, interior designing, and of course, KELP. She has been part of many women entrepreneurs trade delegation in India and abroad. Welcome, Deepali.
Hi, Janaki.
Anila Nair, another member of KELP, plays stay. With an overall experience of 10 years in the field of human resources, Anila's capabilities extend across 3 key areas: talent management, learning and training, and talent acquisition. Welcome, Anila.
Hi, everybody.
I am Janaki Rajagopalan, also a founder member of KELP, and I play org. I have over 30 years of experience in aligning people performance to organization success, both as a corporate professional and as an entrepreneur. My passion lies in creating talent and performance systems through the complete employee lifecycle. As I play the role of org, I represent its leaders too. You will agree that as leaders of your companies, you determine its well-being. You will also see me switching to the role of the narrator as and when we get some aha moments of truth from the discussions. So, are we ready to meet our 3 friends, org, stay, and exit? Hello, exit. It's so good to see you. How long has it been since you walked off my door?
Hi all, a little more than a month, I guess. I'm glad to see you too. After all, I was with you for 4 years, wasn't I? I have very fond memories of the time I was with you. Has my buddy stay come too?
Now, should I be confused? Sometime in our conversation, I must ask him why he left me if he was so fond of me. That's nice to hear, exit. Stay should be here any time now. I hope you have at least an hour. We have so much to catch up on.
Sorry for being a little late. The meeting with the manager took a little longer than expected.
Meetings and calls, they really take up a lot of our time, don't they?
I would normally agree with you, but this meeting was different and very pleasant too. My manager spent an hour with me talking about me, my aspirations, how I felt about the work I do, what I want to do further, what works, what does not. I actually found meaning about my work. my team, and you too, Org.
Really? I hope it makes you feel good about me. We're going to be spending an hour together. I want you to be smiling at me.
That's cool, Stay. May I ask you about this meeting with your manager? I mean, I've not heard about this before.
Well, it all started a week back, Exit. My manager called me and asked me if I could give her an hour this week for a one-on-one discussion. She said this discussion would be about me and wanted to know when I would be free.
And did you wonder what this was all about? I bet you were surprised and a little anxious too.
Of course I was, Org. I know I'm performing well and receiving a lot of appreciation from my manager and your leaders. My manager and I have a great relationship, and she knows I'm a happy and committed employee. I also knew this was not promotion time, so that was ruled out. Naturally, I wondered why.
I can understand. You went through what they call a stay interview. So apt for your name, right? Stay.
Stay interview? What is that? Nobody did that when I was with you all.
I know, Exit. It's a new initiative. Soon after you left Stay, we called in a consultant to discuss about what we needed to do to prevent the exodus of good people. I was losing a lot more people than was healthy, and business was beginning to get affected. Do you know, Exit, I spent a fortune getting your replacement? And I lost revenue because of the time spent in getting your replacement too.
This was a cool experience, Exit. It actually helped me recollect the positive aspects about my work. I felt good talking about why I stay with you, Org, and why I want to stay with you.
And this is really the crux of the stay interview. Intent to stay is one of the most important questions in determining employee engagement. Employee stay interviews allow organizations to understand what employees value in their relationship with the company, what they think the company is doing well in, and what possible workplace issues should be addressed. They actually provide a pulse mechanism. They may address a number of topics, including job satisfaction, supervised performance, compliance issues, career opportunities and barriers, development needs, the impact of recent changes in the organization, cultural issues, and other concerns which all impact the employee's desire and intent to stay. So, Exit, what made you actually leave? You told your HR partner that it was personal. Now, if it is personal, I will not intrude, but was it really?
I'll be honest with you, Og. No, not really. I was feeling restless and had this feeling that there was nothing challenging about what I was doing. When my manager asked me why I was leaving, I did not feel comfortable saying this. I did not want to come across sounding like a whiner or seeming bitter. I did not think he would understand, nor did I think actually HR would understand. And frankly, a little bit of sadness and anger that no one really cared. Personal reasons just seemed so convenient. Also, the exit was so close to my last day, everything was a blur.
Tell me, Exit, would you have stayed if you had been put through discussions like the stay interview?
Maybe, especially if I was not actively looking out. But tell me, Stay, I know you feel good about how open they were with you in your discussion. Were you comfortable telling your manager what you really felt?
Come to think of it, not really. But if such meetings continue to happen, maybe I will.
Stay and Exit, whether you left me or whether you are with me, both of you are my friends. And let me tell you both something as friends. We have to accept and understand the truth that each one of us has our own interests in what we do. From your perspective, you will place your career happiness and success first when the time comes to do so. From my viewpoint, at different points in time, some employees will be more valuable than others. In conducting a meaningful stay interview or exit interview, I do focus on what is good for me, but also take care to see whether it is equally good for you. With a good stay interview, I say in advance, I want to know you because you are important and I don't want to lose you. With a good exit interview, I say, I thank you for helping me so far. I care to ask you if I can do something so you will stay, even if I did not do a good job earlier. And if I am too late now, I care to ask you for your candid views so that I can be a better place for others. I genuinely wish the best for you, and I hope I can give you what you want sometime in the future. Both the exit and the stay interviews have a firm place for the success of your business. Look closely at the employees who left you in the last 3 months or so. Multiply their salary times two and tell yourself, in the last quarter, this colossal amount walked out of our doors. Let that not happen this quarter or the next. Stay interviews give you a chance to learn precious information that could keep you from losing employees in the future. But exit interviews become the microscope to help you look for these precious needles in the haystack so that your stay interview is more meaningful.
That makes such good sense of friendship aside, it makes me feel so less guilty about leaving you. And it makes me feel so much kinder towards you as my previous employer.
So, this is what I was wondering through the hour-long discussion with my manager today. When I had the performance appraisal discussion, when I filled out the employee satisfaction survey, and in a couple of discussions earlier regarding my career, I said pretty much the same things. And even while feeling good about the attention I had today, I was wondering, did they not listen to me earlier? How can I be sure that this time it will be different? And so, I must confess, I was not all that forthcoming. Plus, I am still wary if anything I say will be used against me.
I don't blame you, Stay. I am accountable, and the onus is on me to give you that assurance. The consultant who made this proposal had also wisely stressed on this point. They gave me two possibilities. One, that they would do the stay interviews so that my members would feel free opening up with a non-manager. Or two, they would train my managers to do this in a way that will make you feel comfortable. Tell me, Stay, would you rather have your manager do it, or would you feel freer doing it with someone else?
Can I be candid with you as a friend?
Sure.
I think at least in the beginning, I will be more comfortable with an outside person. I respect my manager a lot and trust her, but I think she has too many pressures to think objectively. For instance, in today's discussion, I liked a question she asked me, what's important to you?
Did you say salary? Or, with due respect to you, you pay at least 20 to 25% less than your counterparts.
No, my manager had already very nicely told me that she could not do much on that right now, and I was okay with that. I told her I want more challenging work, and she said, that's good, and moved on to the next question. I wish she had asked, so what would challenge you? You see, this is what makes me wonder if I should be open. I really want to say all I feel, and maybe an outside expert will be a better bet for that.
A good outside expert could be a great asset. They can infuse the confidence to your employees and train your managers and HR. At the same time, they will not take it off the backs of your manager and HR, but they will actually introduce the practice, provide learning which is customized to your culture and business goals. Exit, you said a very interesting thing. You said, it makes me feel so less guilty about leaving, and it makes me feel so much kinder towards you as my previous employer. Do you think if I talk to you now, you would have a better idea on what you left? And would you be more inclined to share with me your viewpoints with greater clarity and less emotions?
I am convinced I would. I will admit all. I said all that was politically correct to say in my exit interview. I did not lie, but I did not say the whole truth either. I did say the other company is offering a new opportunity and more money, but that was not the whole story. Truly, I was unhappy, and that my manager knew I was not too happy, and I thought he did not attempt to give any clarity. He thought that because I continued to perform well, I was happy. So when I reached out and was offered new beginnings in the direction I was looking for, I just took the plunge.
Research on exit interviews show that ex-employees are most forthright once they have left the company and are in a whole new job. Exit interviews are great tools. Just amend the format and timing. Use them in conjunction with effective stay interviews. And bingo, you have a powerful recipe for employee engagement and retention. Exit, what would have made you feel better about the way your exit was handled?
Or the act of giving my official resignation was not done on an impulse. The thought of looking outside you started months before I actually submitted my papers. At every decision point to go to the next point, I thought hard about it and looked at it from different angles. So when I announced my decision, I was only looking at two things from you. First, that you genuinely cared I was leaving and understood my point of view. Second, you allowed me to leave with dignity and without unnecessary hassles. If you did so and called me a month later, I'm sure I would be very honest to you and answer all your questions.
Stay. You said an equally interesting thing in the beginning too. You said, I actually found meaning about my work, my team, and you too, org. Let me ask you, how important is that to you?
Very important. You see, Og, I may look very sure of what I can do and what I want to do, but I'm evolving too. I need guidance, I need information, I need the affirmation so that my confidence can be channelized to your benefit. I understand the market changes, dynamics change with the organization, and I am willing to look at options that match my aspirations to make myself a productive member to your success. But unless you tell me that, how will I ever know or do anything that to shine for you?
And here is the critical collaboration between the exit and stay interviews. As Exit so clearly said, I lost him 6 months before he actually left me. The reason he's sitting with me today as a friend and opening up to me is because I did something right by him even as he was leaving. I allowed him to leave with his self-worth intact. If I now ask him questions in a tone of appreciative inquiry, he will be more open. He now has had time to gain more objective and a less emotional perspective. He will have experienced his new role and will be able to make valuable comparisons. And he is more likely to be truly honest about the reasons for leaving. None of the constraints at the time of leaving now bind him. No burning of bridges, no concern about getting a good reference. He will now give me constructive criticism since I hold no power over him right now. It is this clear insight I can bring to the stay interview. It allows me to determine many of the same things as an exit interview, but with retention in mind. You see, exit was a valuable member. I did not like to lose him, and I do not want to have the same regret with Stay. Stay has been with me for 3 years and is on the brink of being vulnerable. You just saw how he candidly admitted he's looking for information and guidance within his confidence and aspirations. If I can now establish trust with him to open up on how he's feeling about today and the future, it would help both him and me. Hey, Stay, thank you for being so open. So, if your manager discussed with you to find out the answers, to find out what you find the most and the least fulfilling about your job and me, or what type of recognition is most meaningful for you, would you be able to discuss it with her without being wary?
No guarantees, Og, but if she continued consistently, I know I will. She is a good manager, and I think I can trust her. But, and I'm a mature guy too, I understand everything will not go my way. I will reciprocate her honesty, and she will know for sure what will make me stay with you and what will make me go.
Hey, good point, Steve. Or I have an idea. Why can't you organize detailed exit interviews in what do they say, an appreciative inquiry mode? Maybe a month after employees leave? Here we are with you, an unlikely combination of someone who's left, someone who wishes to stay, and yet so easy with each other, enjoying our tete-a-tete. Seriously, I mean, I appreciate that the effort that you made. I feel valued and have a new respect for you.
In fact, the outside expert pretty much suggested the same exit. In fact, they went a step further. They recommended doing multiple interviews with employees who had left up to a year or more. And this, they said, would allow me to gain a total understanding of why they left. It would also differentiate between patterns and one-off comments by people who are still with me. This will help my teams to better focus their attention on future improvements. In fact, they said if I did not have the bandwidth in my HR team, they would do it for me. Maybe a neutral third party could actually encourage you to be more open.
This has been so refreshing. Much as I want to go on, I have an important call to attend. It was wonderful meeting you again, and I'm very happy that you find fulfillment in your new assignment exit. All the best.
Hey, thanks, Steve. I wish you the same too. Or I must thank you for this. I think of you as I would of my alma mater. I want to assure you that you can reach out to me anytime you need inputs or any support. See you.
Two different handshakes, and yet so common a goal. When the stay and exit interviews come together, I benefit immensely as the organization, both in tangible and in intangible terms. It is indeed a wonderful tandem. Exit interviews provide valuable data and a few inconvenient truths. We can convert this data into real and tangible patterns that recognize different needs of different employees. And when stay interviews are conducted one-on-one with employees with this insight, meaning and credibility are high. In fact, a mirroring of the exit interview and stay interviews will help. Let me give you an example of what I mean by mirroring. In your exit interview, you may ask the following question. Overall, how did you find your experience in the company? What would you like about it? What could have been better? Now, the mirroring question in your stay interview can be, how can we help you be more successful? What are the 2 or 3 things we can change to help you realize your potential? Now, depending on the responses you receive from the exit interview, you can ask more incisive questions in the stay interview, and you can understand the patterns of responses in your stay interviews much better. Another example of mirroring question would be, in the exit interview, you could ask, what does your new position offer that your previous one doesn't? And the mirroring question in the stay interview could be, what is something new you would like to learn this year? Now that makes sense, right? But now you are a business-minded HR leader or the CEO, and you will ask me, well, this sounds good, but is there a tangible return of investment for investing in both stay and exit interviews? And I will say, without a doubt. Let me illustrate this with an example with a couple of slides. Give me a second till I pull up the slides for you. Okay, here goes the slides. Okay, so we are going to look at the ROI of the stay and exit interview combined. Okay, let's see a scenario and let's compare the traditional response with the insight from an exit and stay interview. Okay, so the scenario is, you are a company with 4,500 employees, you have 300 supervisors, and you find that employee turnover is increasing. And you come to the conclusion hey, we need to train our supervisors, which perhaps is true. Now, so what is the action plan that you will put? You say, hey, we have to train our supervisors. We have to develop communication skills, both oral and written in them. We have to develop feedback skills for our supervisors, improve their meeting facilitation skills, and most importantly, improve their conflict management skills. Good action plan. And so, how do you approach it? You'll say, okay, we have 300 supervisors, and let's say it costs 10,000 rupees per supervisor or per participant to complete this entire training. Now, what does that make the total spend? 30 lakhs. So you may go up to your management for a total spend of 30 lakhs. But can you really give them a tangible impact on costs related to employee turnover? But now let's look at a different way. Let's look at how we can use the combined intelligence of stay and exit interviews. Now, we look at the metrics slightly differently now. You still have 4,500 employees, you have the same 300 supervisors, but what you took from your exit interviews and from your stay interviews is that actually only 75 supervisors seem to show a higher turnover rate, let's say 24%, as against the average employee turnover of 14%. So now, let's go deeper down into the research from exit and stay interviews. Now, exit interviews showed you that employees who worked under these 25 supervisors indicated supervisor as the #1 reason for their leaving. And similarly, in stay interviews, we found that 75 supervisors, these same 75 supervisors, had ratings about 20 to 25% lower than the other supervisors. Now, what you have done is actually you have zeroed down on just 75 supervisors. And then you also find that the cost of turnover of employees who worked under these 75 supervisors, let's say some amount, lakhs of rupees. So now let's see how your action plan will look different. You will start the whole action plan by training only these 75 supervisors whose ratings are about 20% or 25% less than normal. Now, 10,000 rupees per supervisor, that makes it just 7,50,000 rupees spent. Now, you can go one step further. You can now establish a goal to reduce attrition for these 75 supervisors by 10 to 15%. So you have a consequence now, you had a cause, you have an action, and now you can put a consequence to it. And that is what this combined intelligence of stay and exit interviews give you. It gives you greater clarity. It gives you focus so that you can manage your actions better. It also gives you tangible cost savings for the same results. And now, most importantly, the discussion moves from just being a HR initiative to a very collaborative HR business imperative. And that is what I was trying to tell you. If you want more information, this is the address that you can go to. Okay, so now we do have a few questions, and I'll be very glad to take them on. Okay, so let's look at the first question. One second. Let me go to the first question. Okay, now the first question has come to me. Very interesting question, simple but very effective. It asks me, what should exit interviews address? Let's go to it. I would recommend a more positive, appreciative inquiry at the beginning. And the following questions will actually bring it out. This will motivate the resigned employee open up better. Some of the questions would be, overall, how did you find your experience in the company? You can also ask, what did they like most about it, or what could have been better? Of course, you would definitely ask the question, what was your primary reason for leaving? Subsequently, you can ask, what would have made them stay? Again, ask them, did you receive enough training and support to do your job effectively? Or you can also ask, did you receive meaningful feedback about your performance? Look like what Stay said. they want guidance. The policies could be a culprit, so you can ask, did any policy make your job more difficult? And leave them with a positive thought. Ask them, would they consider working for the organization again in the future? And especially when you ask them a month or so after they have left, you can also ask them, what does your new position offer that your previous one doesn't? You would get a whole lot of meaning. So does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Here's a second question too. And it is basically asking me about the stay interviews. So what should stay interviews address? That is the question. The stay interviews may address the following. It has to be a little shorter. It need not be so incisive, because you're going to allow the employees to talk more. So it's a little more open-ended, but still very powerful. They may address the following. It can ask the questions, how can we help you to be more successful? Or you can ask them, what are the 3 things we can change to help you realize your potential? Importantly, you can ask them, if you were to resign today, what would you miss the most? And this helps people to come out with what they like about the organization. It makes them recollect about the good things about your organization. Or you can ask them, what would be the one thing that would make you consider moving on? And positively, you can ask them, what is something new you would like to learn this year? Believe me, this will give you a lot of inputs about what makes the employee tick and want to stay. I see another third question, and very interesting one coming up. Okay, this question goes, how do you recommend we act on the insights from the stay and exit interviews? Great question. And I would think the most effective way to look at engagement and retention as a business issue, not a HR initiative. Take it away from just being a HR initiative, you get a different meaning to the answer. So because once we do that, the interpretation of the insights will take on a different dimension. And then the follow-up actions will then move from just being a HR-led training or generic town halls or brown bag lunches or just mere engagement team outings or even a one-size-fits-all rewards and recognition program. It will now move on to a business-led exercise, and let's see how that will look like. First, we convert turnover and engagement to actual revenue, then just benchmarks, just a X% or a Y%. We actually put a figure to it, and there are many, many ways to do it accurately. Second, we now create goals that hold business leaders and their HR partners equally responsible. Third, like in sales, and if you know about sales, you'll know this, we hold both HR and business leaders to actually forecast their employees' stay and engagement levels. Finally, we hold them accountable for their goals and their forecasts. Believe me, when your members will see the names on scorecards next to their goals, you'll find that they will have more talent and more capabilities than you think. And then your leaders will start looking at your members with far more seriousness and far more action-oriented. Thank you very much. I hope you all benefited by this. I hope you all found it interesting. And thanks a lot. For more, as I said, for more question and answers that you have, reach out to us at dipalipal@kelphr.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.